Doing wrong has become so easy for us. And to do something good has become difficult for us. A person can lift 200 pounds after Isha, but for Fajr Salah he can lift just 2 pound blanket. It's so easy to do physical exercise, but when it comes to a virtue of ibadah, it's like, oh my God, 5 o'clock, I can't do it in summer. It's not possible. Allah's Prophet Sahal Allah, that's what we need. We need Allah to open the ways. إِنَّهُ لَيَسِيرٌ عَلَى مَنْ يَسَّرَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. It is easy for that person. Allah has been easy. Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salamun ala ibadihi alladhina istafa. Amma ba'd. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه العزيز بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون إنما يتذكر أولو الألباب. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام نضر الله امرأ سمع منا شيئا فبلغه كما سمعه فرب مبلغ أو أعى من سامع أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we will not be discussing the 40 hadith of Arba'in Nawawi. Alhamdulillah, with the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has brought us to the end of Rajab. And the next month is the month of Sha'ban, and then after that is the month of Ramadan. And keeping this in mind, that the greatest month in the world, in the year, is arriving, and we have to prepare for that month. And preparation means the physical, you're ready to fast those many hours, and also the spiritual preparation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives excuses and reasons for a human, and opportunities for a human to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Where the whole year, 11 months, this person was doing so many things which were impermissible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him an excuse in the month of Ramadan. At least in the month of Ramadan, let's change the tide. Let's turn the compass. Let's make the focus something else, towards someone else. So you have all year, and we are indulged in dunya, in studies, which is not haram. But we prioritize things which are not as important as deen at times. So we take these into our life, or we become so occupied and so busy that we really don't have time for Allah, His deen, His religion. And when we do, it's just a ritual. And Allah gives us the tawfiq of Hajj. Allah gives you opportunities like Salah. So if you made a mistake in Fajr Salah, between Fajr and Dhuhr, Allah says, come pray Dhuhr, I wash your sins. Between Dhuhr and Asr, you made a mistake, Allah says, pray Asr, I wash your sins. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives an opportunity to human at every single angle of his life. And says a human has the amount of breath that a person takes in his life, that's how many opportunities he has to turn to Allah. And you and I, who are living this close to Ramadan, no guarantee we're going to make it to Ramadan. But if we make it to Ramadan, the Prophet ﷺ used to make dua. Allah, bring Ramadan to us. Like we're so close to it, let us live through Ramadan. The most important thing is before Ramadan that we need to make our goals, what we have in mind that we want to change in our life. We need to make a list of things. The things that we're doing good and things that we're doing wrong. And then the things that we want to change. And start to change slowly now before Ramadan. And I give an example to my ilm students. A small change could be that we speak less. Just stay quiet more often. You're walking around, you just keep quiet. Silence. Silence is also ibadah. Silence, because if you stay silent, you have nothing good to say, stay silent. He's successful. Silence is also ibadah if you're doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So learning the habits that you're trying to develop in the month of Ramadan before Ramadan. And one of the most important things before the month of Ramadan is to develop the character of bringing more knowledge into your life of Islam. And that's where I'm going to turn my focus to. Is how important knowledge is and the opportunity of learning in the month of Ramadan. Because we understand شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. It was the month of Ramadan where the Quran was revealed on the 17th day. And then they say the 27th night. Some places Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says بليلة مباركة وسليلة مباركة إن أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. It was in the month of Ramadan. And then Badr was in the month of Ramadan. The Fath Makkah, the conquer of Makkah, was in the month of Ramadan. So the greatest events in Islamic history took in the month of Ramadan. You would wonder, how are we going to fast in the month of Ramadan when there's a battle of Badr taking place in the month of Ramadan? The Prophet ﷺ told them, break your fast, because we're going out for a challenge. So the greatest events took place in the month of Ramadan. The changes that a person wants in his entire life, and the amount of effort a person makes. In 11 months, he can make that effort in 1 month and change his life. Because the angels have the mercies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spread out. The shaitan are locked up. They're in their sijins. So in the month of Ramadan, a person has the opportunity to grow closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the first thing a person needs to have is knowledge. We all have all year to go to school, educate ourselves, make friends. In the month of Ramadan, we take out time to learn deen. And we make friendship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That 1 month, I will dedicate to my Lord. This is why the Prophet ﷺ was told, قُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. Though the Prophet ﷺ was so educated, Allah ordered the Prophet ﷺ, you ask, and I will teach you. Ask Allah, I will teach you. And the Prophet ﷺ was always aspiring, he was always in that mood of learning, teaching. And the best thing a person could do in his youth is take out time in his free time. When you have this summer coming up, if you're not taking classes, and schedule your classes in such a way that when I'm done this month of Ramadan, keep myself so occupied that my life changes. Your life is not just going to change by coming for Taraweeh. You need to keep your day and your night in such a schedule that you are forced, in where your life has changed. You're forced to change your life. You're getting up for tahajjud, you're getting up praying Taraweeh, you're going back home, you're doing suhoor, you're doing so many activities that your life just changes. And without even knowing it, your habits start becoming better, the bad habits start leaving your life, and that is the month of Ramadan. And unfortunately, Ramadan has come. Last year we did Ramadan, and then let's see how long after Ramadan we can control ourselves and our desires. How long? In the month of Ramadan, my cell phone that I use, I will not use as much. Just make some goals. And the first thing is, when you have knowledge and you keep yourself busy and educating yourself in dunya and deen, it will keep you busy and will give you khashya. The first thing that will happen through knowledge is you get khashya. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. The most God-fearing people are the people who have knowledge. Al-ilm huwa al-khashya. Ibn Mas'ud says under the tafsir of the ayah, Ibn Abbas says, knowledge is khashya, fear of God. Having the consciousness of Allah, that is knowledge. When you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching you and hearing you, you know that's enough. That is enough, because the Prophet ﷺ said, al-ilmu ilman. Knowledge is 2 types. علم في قلب فذاك علم نافع وعلم على اللسان فذاك حجة الله على ابن آدم. Knowledge is 2 types. One is the knowledge علم في قلب, the knowledge in the heart. That knowledge فذاك علم ينتفع. That knowledge will help you sustain your life, help you become a better person, knowing the virtue of doing good, knowing the sin of doing wrong, and you become careful and conscious of the things that you're doing and the things around you. So you're very careful. And that knowledge that's in the heart, and that you're practicing the knowledge, is a knowledge that will help you. Many people have information, and I say this over and over. Don't study Islam as a subject. Study Islam as a religion. Because if you go to university and you take Islamic courses and you study Islam as a subject, you will start finding faults in Islam. You'll start finding doubts in Islam. You'll start questioning yourself. Really? What? Is the Quran a real revelation? How do we know the Quran was preserved like the way it is today and given to us? Why did the Prophet ﷺ marry Aisha at the age of 9? And you will start doubting the fundamental principles of Islam. You will start doubting the trust of the Prophet ﷺ, the revelation. Things go on. Why is it that men get double inheritance than women? I disagree with the Quran ayah. Why you start disagreeing with so many things, and a person with his yaqeen, that's the first thing that happens with the shaitan. And the waswas, doubts. When you start doubting a religion, you are in the edge على شفا جرف حار فانحار به في نار جهنم. You are on the edge of leaving Islam. The first thing you need to do is remove those doubts. And that's the first thing Allah said, لا ريب فيه. Everything Allah has decided is perfectly accurate. Whether we understand it or not, Allah has ordered it the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, there are justifications, there are reasonings, there are hikam behind it. The ulama say, but the fact that Allah has narrated it and revealed in the Quran, we need to agree to it. We need to believe it and follow it. There are a list of things that people start doubting in universities. They teach us this, and philosophy, about the oneness of God. And finally they come, a person came up to me the other day, and he called me, he just came from Philadelphia, came, and he said, I had two Arabs that joined my class in English philosophy at UPenn. And when they started the class, they were from overseas, they were perfect Muslims. By the end of the class, they became atheists. By the end of the class, they just left Islam. And English philosophy, really, it's not that dangerous. So you can, and the environment that we're in, the education that we're getting, it's targeting directly to our yaqeen and aqidah. And you need to be aware of this. And what's that to add on to the flavor? The environment that's around. The fitan and the batil and the oriyaniyah that's all around, that's not helping us either. So number one, the first thing we need to do is focus on building our character and knowledge. And Allah says in the Quran, هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ. Can they be equal? Those who have knowledge and those who don't. The second type of knowledge is ilmun ala lisan, the knowledge on the tongue. People can speak, people can read, people can write literature, but if that knowledge is not in practice, فَذَاكَ حُجَّةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى ibn Adam. That same knowledge will take this human to the fire of Jahannam. The same knowledge will take this human to the fire of Jahannam. This is why the Prophet ﷺ said, أَتَعْرِفُ مَنْ أَجْوَدُ جُودٍ. He asked the Sahaba, do you know who the most generous person is? The Sahaba said, رضي الله عنهم أجمعين, Allah wa Rasuluhu a'lam. We don't know, you know better, and Allah knows better. He says, Allahu ajwadul jud. Allah is the most generous. We can see how much Allah has done for us. Each person cannot count the bounties of Allah. Individually, you can't count the bounties of Allah. Imagine on a collective basis. The whole world. أنفق ابن آدم ينفق عليك. يد الله ملأ لا يغيضها نفقة. Allah has spent from first day to second day, nothing decreases. We talked about this in the previous hadith. Equal to the needle that goes into the ocean. When it puts into the ocean, nothing decreases. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spends and He gives, nothing decreases. So in asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and learning from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, learning this deen, when a person turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the real religion and the ilm, Allah will give him. Allah will bless him. Allah will protect him. Allah will change his life. So the Prophet says, who is the most generous person? The Prophet answers, Allah is the most generous person. Do you know who the most generous person after Allah? You might say, the person who gives the most money, builds houses, helps the orphans, takes care of the needy. That's there. The Prophet says, أَنَا أَجْوَدُ مِنْ بَنِي آدَمَ. I am the most generous from the children of Adam. And we know the Prophet ﷺ did not have too much material to offer. Didn't have any food in his house. A beggar comes, 9 houses. Message was sent to 9 houses. And each house said, Ya Rasulullah, we have nothing in our house. Now, it's not like one wife was rich, the second wife wasn't rich. 9 houses, absolutely no food. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, who's going to take my guest in the famous hadith? Inna Allah, Allah was impressed by your hospitality to the guest of Allah last night. That famous story. What was the generosity of the Prophet ﷺ? The biggest generosity of the Prophet ﷺ was that he took humanity off the bridge that was heading towards hell, Jahannam, and turned them and gave them a U-turn and head them towards Jannah. Because though they might die hungry in this world, but they will be safe from the pus of Jahannam. Though they might not enjoy the best of this world, but they will enjoy the palaces and the luxury of Akhirah. That is the greatest generosity of any person. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, أَتَعْرِفُ مَنْ أَجْوَدُ مِنْ بَعْدِي. Do you know the most generous person is after me? Again, we might think it's a person who's wealthy, rich. Prophet ﷺ said, رَجُلٌ, a person, male or female, عَلِمَ عِلْمًا, who acquires knowledge. فَنَشَرَ. Then he takes his knowledge and he goes around the world and teaches it to the mass public. يَأْتِي يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أُمَّةً وَاحِدٍ. He will come on the day of judgment, there will be a nation behind him. Anbiya will come, they'll have people behind them, this individual will have people behind him. This individual will have people behind him. And the famous hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, لَنْ يَشْبَعَ الْمُؤْمِنُ مِنْ خَيْرٍ حَتَّى يَكُونُ مُنْتَهَى الْجَنَّةِ. A believer is never satisfied by the knowledge he or she has until she enters into Jannah. Because always you're worried, I want to get more, I want to learn more, I want to learn more knowledge and get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always in that theme. And the Prophet ﷺ said, may that face glow. نَضَّرَ اللَّهُ إِمْرًا. May Allah glow the face of the person who learns my hadith, who learns my religion. سَمِعَ مِنَّا شَيْءٍ. Learns anything from me. And then فَوَعَاهَ إِلَى الرِّوَايَةِ. He holds it, he memorizes it. And in this riwayah, فَبَلَّغَهُ كَمَا سَمِعَ. Then he transfers the knowledge to another person. Prophet said about this person, نَضَّرَ اللَّهُ. نَضَّرَ means to make this person's face glow, to make it shine, keep him happy. You learn the knowledge of the religion of the Prophet ﷺ on the dua of Rasulullah, Allah will keep you happy. Allah will keep you away from the trouble of this dunya. فَوَعَاهَا كَمَا سَمِعَ فَرُبَّ مُبَلِّغٍ أَوْعَى مِنْ سَامِعٍ. The unique thing about this hadith is the students sometimes can be smarter than the one that narrated the hadith to them. Maybe you can understand the concept of religion better than the person who's teaching it to you. But the fact is, you have to learn it yourself. Prophet ﷺ said clearly, a person comes, Ya Rasulullah, we said, you know what, we're too old. We've done so much wrong in our life. A man comes to Rasulullah ﷺ, he said, Ya Rasulullah, kabura sinni wa raqqa azmi. Jittu li atlub al-ilm. I'm old and my bones have gone weak. Wa raqqa azmi. My bones have gone weak. Don't tell me to stay here and learn knowledge. I just can't. I can't do jihad. I can't do anything difficult. Just tell me something simple and I've come to learn knowledge. The Prophet ﷺ said, Ya Qubaysa. Guy Sahabi was in Qubaysa. He said, ما مررت بحجر ولا شجر ولا مدر إلا استغفر لك. Let me tell you the first thing. Every tree and every house and any clay or mud or dust that you walk by, it was doing istighfar for you. It was praying for you because you went with the intention of knowledge. You've come for knowledge. Everything in the world is praying for you. A man came to Rasulullah ﷺ, he says, أتيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وهو متكئ وعليه بردة حمراء. I came to Rasulullah and he was sitting and he was wearing a red cloak upon him. Now he's describing the description. The Prophet was sitting, I came to the Prophet, he was wearing a red sheet over himself. And he says, Ya Rasulullah, أتيت لأطلب العلم. I've come to learn knowledge from you. The Prophet said, مرحبا مرحبا لطالب العلم. Welcomes him openly. فإن الملائكة لتضع أجنحتهم لطالب العلم. Know this, that the angels have spread their wings under your feet. It won't be a lie to say that the students of knowledge don't walk on the earth, they walk on the wings of the angels. They're stuck, not the red carpet. Not the red carpet. The angels spread their wings under the person's feet. The virtue of a person who learns knowledge. The Prophet said, من سلك طريقا يبتغي فيه علما سهل الله له طريقا إلى الجنة. Anyone that comes out with this hope that I want to learn something this Ramadan, I want to change my life this Ramadan, Allah will make ways for him easy towards Jannah. That is the challenge. Doing wrong has become so easy for us. And to do something good has become difficult for us. A person can lift 200 pounds after Isha, but for Fajr Salah he can't lift his 2-pound blanket. It's so easy to do physical exercise, but when it comes to a virtue of ibadah, it's like, oh my God, 5 o'clock, I can't do it in summer. It's not possible. Allah, Prophet Sahal Allah, that's what we need. We need Allah to open the ways. إِنَّهُ لَيَسِيرٌ عَلَى مَنْ يَسَّرَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. It is easy for that person. Allah has made it easy. This is what Allah said in the Quran. فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَى فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى. Oh, اللهم اجعلنا منهم، اللهم احفظنا، اللهم يسر حسابنا وطريقنا يا رب العالمين. The way we're moving, with all the challenges, it is not easy. A kid comes up to me from one of the schools. He said, Ya Shaykh, you're telling me this is what you're preaching us, without being shy. You're telling us, go to high school, go to the world, sit in the environment for 6-7 hours where there is immodesty, dunya, everything wrong possible that's happening in our schools without mentioning what's going on. Everyone knows that goes to this environment. We see wrong. People touch us. We touch wrong. We listen to wrong. Everything. You're telling me to come out dry from this environment? Being honest. You're asking me to walk out dry from this filth? This is a joke. I can't do it. It's not going to happen. And wallahi, when he was telling me this person was talking from the heart. He was about to tear. And I'm like, man, I'm lucky. I'm in the masjid teaching and I'm working with the boys and the girls who want to change their life. I go to the colleges sometimes. And if I go for a university lecture. I don't see exactly I saw it when I was a student, but it was a different time, but things are getting worse. I'm like, man, really, this person you're really out for a challenge. He's like, honestly, you want me to go to an environment and ask me to protect my religion, protect my eyes? You're joking. You want me to pray my salah on time when I have all these distractions? And you want me to come out of high school as a virgin? Like, seriously? This is difficult. And anyone that I talk to that's been through the same system has admitted that they also made mistakes. But they say, you know what, do tawbah after. What do you want me to do? You know what I said to them? I said, the question isn't that you're not going to get dirty. Of course you're going to get dirty. In shaitan, the environment. And I brought this hadith came into my mind. Prophet ﷺ asked the Sahaba, هل من أحد يمشي في الماء إلا ابتلت قدماه. Is there anyone that walks, puts his 2 feet into the water, and his feet stay dry? Prophet ﷺ said, no. The Sahaba said, of course, Ya Rasulullah. But of course his feet are going to get wet. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, وَكَذَلِكَ صَاحِبُ الدُّنْيَا. Anyone that goes into the dunya, his feet will get wet. I said, the question is, how fast you dry them. How fast you realize that you did wrong, and you come to the masjid and say, oh, I made a mistake. He said, before when an opposite gender would come to near me, I would become uncomfortable. Okay? And then, when they would talk to me, I would become uncomfortable. If they asked me for a high five, I wouldn't do it. If they tried to shake my hand, I would restrict. If they asked me for a date, being straightforward, I would say no, I'm a Muslim. And you know, it just changed. A time has come now that if they put the arms around my back, if they ask me for a high five, I don't feel the difference anymore. And I'm afraid, oh Shaykh. So I swear to God, I haven't done anything haram. But I'm this close. I'm this close. What do you want me to do? What am I going to do? And this is why I'm speaking about this topic. We've all made mistakes. You know? There is no saint in the world that hasn't made a mistake. But the fact is how you are planning to repent to Allah and ask Allah to change your life. فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى وَصَدَّقَ. You have to be honest. You have to be honest to yourself. Not say, I'm perfect. If you think you're perfect, you don't have nothing to change. If you think you're perfect, don't even sit here. One Shaykh started this gathering overseas in Delhi, and he used to give a khatara every Friday night, Thursday night. And people used to come from outskirts of the villages, thugs, criminals, robbers, stealers, everyone used to come. And this was the early 1900s, and this Shaykh was Shaykh Ilyas Kandali rahimahullah. And he would give a dars, and he would give a lecture to the people that would come, understanding these people had almost left Islam, because when the British came to India, they worked so hard against the Muslims, killing the scholars, and moving Islam away from the public, and ignorance started, and materialistic work. I mean, the world just changed at that part. Nevertheless, he started this da'wah program. People would come from far away. And one day it became famous that at his masjid, nothing but criminals, thugs, stealers, alcoholic, druggies come. And every time people would come, they would park their bikes. Back then, in the early 1900s, means of transportation was a bike. So they would come with their bikes, and when they would leave, they would go outside, the bikes were stolen. So it became famous that the markaz, the center, is a famous place for thugs and stealers. Don't go to the Sheikh's program, you're going to get robbed. So the Sheikh found out, and the next session on Thursday, everyone came. He said, listen up. Before I even start my session, anyone that is a Junaid Baghdadi here, please stand up and leave. Anyone that thinks he's Hassan Basri, please get up and leave. Anyone that thinks is Abdul Qadir Jalani, stand up and leave. This place is not for those people. This place is for those who have done zina. This place is for those who have killed people. This place is for those drug addicts. This place is for those who can't respect their parents. This place is for those who have anger management. This is for those people who are wounded and they need to get patched. Come to me and I will give you your need. It's not for those religious people. If you think you're religious, get up and leave. You don't need it because you already think you're perfect. People will come here who have done wrong all their life and say, you know what, I need to change my life. And they will change. And I'm speaking to you the same. I don't think I'm perfect. No one was perfect. Sahabas made mistakes. We will all make mistakes. But the challenge is, like this young boy asked this question, you and I, living in this society, we will have the mist of the fitna on ourselves. It will touch us. But the fact is how fast we dry ourselves. And number one, you need to recognize it. If you didn't diagnose your problem, you can't diagnose it. Like, I'm perfect, you're not going to change. And if your parents think you're perfect, your community thinks you're perfect, that doesn't mean you're perfect. There's no one perfect, first of all. And there's no such thing as a perfect human, other than Anbiya. But to reach ihsan, to aspire perfection and complete in your religion is a must upon everybody. And until you don't know this, until you don't know you're making mistakes, and you don't agree to it, and you don't confess yourself, you cannot change yourself. You need to agree to that. Even the person who prays tahajjud needs to know he can get better. Because the Prophet ﷺ used to pray tahajjud. And he used to make dua for the ummah. So the Prophet ﷺ said the most generous person is that person who learns knowledge and he goes across the world and he spreads his knowledge. And that person who goes out for the acquiring of knowledge, سَهَّلَ اللَّهُ طَرِيقًا إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, that person who goes out to learn knowledge, وَإِنَّ الْعَالِمِ لَا يَسْتَغْفِرْ لَهُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ حَتَّى الْحِيتَانُ فِي الْمَاءِ. When a student goes out to learn knowledge, forget the world praying for him. Everything in the world makes dua for this person. Until such specification, the Prophet ﷺ said, fish in the ocean make dua for this person. The birds in the sky, حَتَّى النَّمْلَةِ فِي حُجْرِهَا, even the ant and their holes make dua for this person. They all make dua for this person. وَإِنَّ الْعَالِمِ, everyone. The Prophet ﷺ says, وَفَضْلُ الْعَالِمِ عَلَى الْعَابِدِ كَفَضْلِ الْقَمَرِ عَلى سَائِرِ الْكَوَاكِبِ. The virtue of a scholar is like the moon over the rest of the stars. The brilliance, the bright, the nur. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّ الْعُلَمَاء وَرَثَةُ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. Remember, the students of knowledge, the people who are scholars, are the inheritors of the Prophet. فإن الأنبياء لم يورثوا دينارا ولا درهما فإنما ورثوا العلم فمن أخذه أخذ بحظ وافر. And anyone that learns the knowledge and the legacy that the Prophets left behind has taken a great treasure. And being honest with all of you who are not married yet, your children will need your education. You can't say, well, hire a sheikh and send them there. The knowledge that my child learns from me cannot be equal to any sheikh. You as a sister, you as a brother, you need to know your religion. How much do you know about your religion? How well do you know your religion? And what you know, are you applying into your life? It needs to be applied. The Prophet ﷺ said, أُغْدُ عَالِمًا. Either you become a scholar, or muta'allim. You can't become a scholar, that's not everybody's job. You don't have time to go to University of Medina, you don't have time to go to South Africa. Okay, fine. You can't become a muta'allim, become a student. You know, they used to say in Flint, we never had a sheikh. Okay? We don't have any lectures, we have no programs. Like all week we have programs. This place is buzzing. Alhamdulillah. It's just us. And I said this in my speech before. I mean, people are dying thirsty and they're living behind a lake. Seriously? Take out time. Place is buzzing. And we I talk to my brother all the time. If we can put a masjid behind everyone's house, they still won't come. It's Allah who brings people to the masjid. This is why when you hear people coming from Andalus, from Spain, all the way to Iraq, from Iraq to Sham, from Sham to Medina to learn hadith, you wonder why did they do this? Why did they learn? Because they understood. Sahaba, they went from one part of Medina to the other side of the world to Sham, just to learn. They saw the Prophet, but they learned. And this is why we have to understand, this is very important. The Prophet said, "Oh, muta'allim, become a student. 1 hour a day in the month of Ramadan, just 1 hour. I'm going to do anything I want. I'm going to take out 1 hour in Ramadan. And learn some Quran, learn some tafsir, learn some manners, learn something in Ramadan. Mustami'an. If you can't become a student, at least a person that comes and listens to the lectures of a scholar. Alhamdulillah, we're all doing that. أو محبا. If you can't even find time because you're busy at work, at school, and family, you should love the people of knowledge. ولا تكن خامسة. Don't become the fifth person. Who's the fifth person? Who's the fifth person? Who knows? أن تغبض العلم وأهله. That you dislike the people of knowledge and you dislike knowledge. Like, man, no, these people they're making everything haram. You know, they're making everything difficult. They're making life scary. Everyone's going to hell. No, that's not how a scholar is supposed to be, first of all. You have to take out time for this knowledge. And remember, the knowledge that you learn today will be part of you and it will stick with you till you die. And this famous story of Abdullah ibn Abbas. We said this before. Abdullah ibn Abbas went to this young guy in Ansar. He says, "Halumu nadhabu ila ashabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam." Let's go. He told him, after the death of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لما مات الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم, قال Abdullah ibn Abbas, "Halumu ila ashabi Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam ta'allam." Let's go to the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the greater companions, and let's learn from them. So this young boy says, you know what? أترى الناس يحتقرون إليك وفيهم أصحاب محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم من فيهم. This guy says to Abdullah ibn Abbas, like, are you serious? You think people will ever turn to you for knowledge? When Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, these great Sahaba are still alive, Mu'adh ibn Jabal, you, young kid, like who's going to turn to you? And he was a teenager when the Prophet passed away. He said, you know what, فَتَرَكْتُ ذَاكَ. In the narration he says, the best translation is فَتَرَكْتُ ذَاكَ, I left him his way. فَتَرَكْتُ ذَاكَ, I just let him walk his way. And then I started going to the houses of the Sahaba. إِذَا بَلَّغَنِي حَدِيث مِنْ رَجُلٍ, if I heard a hadith that some Sahabi narrated, فَأَتَيْتُ بَابَ, I would come to his house. وَإِذَا هُوَ قَائِلٌ, and if he was sleeping, قَائِل means قَيْلُولَ, if he was resting in the afternoon, فَبَسَطْتُ رِدَائِي عِنْدَ الْبَابِ, I would spread my sheet in the front of his house. And I would wait. فَيَسِيحُ التُّرَابُ عَلَيَّ وَجْهِي, and the dirt and the dust of Medina, and when winds would go by, they would hit me over my face, and I would just sit there. And when he would wake up, فَيَخْرُجُ فَيَرَانِي, he would wake up and he'd come outside and he would see me. He said, يَا ابْنِ عَمِّ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ, the older cousin of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why did you go through all this trouble? All you had to do is send a message towards us, we would have came to you and helped you. He says, no, أَنَا أَحَقٌ أَنَا آتِيكَ. It is my right to come to you because I am the student and you're the teacher. Times went by, years went by, decades went by, the world changed, the great companions passed away, and the world turned their focus to this young man, Abdullah ibn Abbas. And this person that same person that Abdullah ibn Abbas offered, why don't you join me at the Halaqa and learn some knowledge? He said, فَيَرَانِي وَالنَّاسُ حَوْلِي يَسْأَلُونِي. He saw me after so many years where people were surrounding me and asking me questions. And then he said, هَذَا الْفَتَى أَعْقَلُ مِنِّي. He said, this young boy, this young lad came out much smarter than me. He made the right choice. And that is a choice that we have to make in this month. And Allah will give you respect. Knowledge is not there so you can get famous, give lectures, write a book. Knowledge is there to practice yourself, and Allah will give you respect. The famous story of Zayn al-Abidin. So Hisham ibn Malik, he comes to Makkah for Umrah or Hajj. And when he comes to Haram, at this time Hisham ibn Abdul Malik bin Marwan was the prince of the world, not the king. His father was the king, Abdul Malik. And he asked his ministers, his soldiers to make way. Like the king comes, when he comes to Haram, everybody moves up, the shurta come, the police comes, the forces come, they make way, and they allow the king and the prince and the royal family to do tawaf. It still happens today like this. So similar was the condition at that time in Hajj. He walks in, the shurtas and the police and the forces, they try to make way for the prince. وَلَمْ يَلْتَفِتْ أَحَدٍ. Nobody moved. Everybody was busy in their Hajj because everyone in the house of Allah is a slave of Allah. There's no such thing as a king and a slave. When you're in the house of Allah, all equal. Nothing happened. And he struggled so much and he could not get to the Hajj al-Aswad. Man, he's like, wow, this is difficult. And فَسَمِعَ التَّهْلِيلِ, all of a sudden he hears people saying, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. And فَجَعَلْنَا وَشْرَبَّتَ النَّاسُ إِلَى الرَّجُلِ. The narration says, all of a sudden people started moving their necks and started focusing at this point, at entrance of the masjid. And people started moving out of their way, making space, giving respect, And he's like, مَا هَذِي الرَّجُلِ أَكْرَمَهُ النَّاسِ عَلَى هَذَا الْكِرَامِ. Who is this person people have given so much respect? وَأَجَلُّهُ هَذَا الْإِجْلَالِ. So much honor. Who is this person? Someone asked, someone questioned. So Hisham ibn Abdul Malik says, لَا أعرف, لَا أدري, I don't know who he is. But he did know who he was. So Furuzdaq, a poet, was right next to them. He says, إِن كُنْتَ لَا تَعْرِفُ أَنَا أَعْرِف. If you don't know who he is, I'll tell you who he is. And then he says, هذا ابن خير عباد الله كلهم. هذا التقي النقي الطاهر العلم. هذا الذي تعرف البطحاء وطاءته والبيت يعرفه والحل والحرم. يكاد يمسكه عرفان راحته ركن الحطيم إذا ما جاء يستلم. ما قال لا قدت إلا في تشهده لولا التشهد كانت لاؤه نعم. إن عد أهل التقى كانوا أئمتهم أو قيل من خير أهل الأرض قيلهم. إذا رأته قريش قال قائلها إلى مكارم هذا ينتهي الكرم. If you still don't know who he is, هذا ابن فاطمة إن كنت جاهله بجده أنبياء الله قد ختموا. يغضي حياء ويغضى من مهابته فلا يتكلم إلا وحين يبتسم. Translation is this: هذا ابن خير عباد الله. This is the son of the greatest human ever that walked on this world. كله. هذا التقي النقي. He is not only pure from inside, but he's pure from outside. تقي النقي. He is the most pious person in the eyes of Allah, God-fearing, and he is the most kind person in the eyes of the public. تقي النقي طاهر العلم. طاهر, pure example. هذا الذي, you don't know him, but the streams and the valleys and the mountains and the streets of Makkah know who he is. Because the Prophet ﷺ used to say, I know and I can recognize the rocks and the trees. They used to say salam to me when I used to walk by them. And أعرف حجرا بمكة. Prophet ﷺ, Ali, I know our rocks and mountains in Makkah. When the Prophet ﷺ used to walk by them, they used to say salam to the Prophet ﷺ. If a tree can cry, and the movement of the Prophet ﷺ 10 to 12 meters from his one place to a member, if the tree can cry like a baby from the departing from the Prophet ﷺ from his location, you can imagine the love the world had for the Prophet ﷺ. And this is a grandchild. He says, هذا التقي النقي هذا الذي تعرف البطحاء والطاعة بل بيت يعرفه والحل والحرم. Inside haram, outside haram. The creatures, the dry land, and the world knows this person. That's we'll make this clear. You don't know him, the world knows him. Then he says, when he comes towards the Kaaba, it's just expression. People reach out to touch the Kaaba, but the Kaaba reaches out to touch him. It's an expression. It's not realistic, He is so close to Allah that, some people are so religious and so pious that they touching the floor, it's a favor upon the earth. Man, we say like, this sheikh came to our house, or this person came to our house, we got blessed. That earth that was dry from the mercy of Allah was given the shower by him touching that earth. This is why I said when you go out to the north, call adhan, because those trees out there have been dried by hearing the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prophet said to one Sahaba, he said, oh my companion, he used to travel a lot. So when you travel in the desert, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Whenever the time of salah adhan comes, adhan, give adhan. And give iqamah. He says, maybe there will be no one behind you standing, but as long as the eyes can see right and left, there will be angels in rows. Allahu Akbar. Up to the sky. Up to the sky. You're not all alone. Allah is with you. But to keep this in mind, wow, angels behind me? Shaykh led the salah in Makkah and the humans behind him. One person led the salah in the desert with angels behind him. What's a virtue? So he said this person, everyone in the world knows him. And when he comes towards the Kaaba cannot wait. يَكَادُ يُمْسِكُ عِرْفَانُ رَاحَتَهُ رُكْنُ الْحَطِيمِ إِذَا جَاءَ مَا يَسْتَلِمُونَ. This person has never said no. One of the qualities of Ahlul Bayt is that, or pious people, is they're very generous. مَا قَالَ لَا قَطُّ إِلَّا فِي تَشَهُدِي. The Prophet ﷺ never said no in his life. If he had, he would give. If he didn't have, he would say, come back, I will get and I will give you. To a certain extent, Allah says, He says, come on. وَلَا تَبْسُطْ كُلَّ الْبَسْطِ. Don't spread your hands too open. فَتَقْعُدَ مَلُومًا. Then you're going to regret it. A person came to Rasulullah and said, Rasulullah, I need some clothes. Prophet took off his sheet and gave it to him. And then he couldn't knock him for salah. Allah revealed the ayah. Come on. This is not how you're supposed to be. Give in moderation. So generous, Allah had to relax him. This is not how you're supposed to do it. So this is that quality. He مَا قَالَ لَا قَطُّ, never said no in his life, unless he had to say أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. That's a la that he says. لولا التشهد كان الله نعم. If there was never any tashahhud, he was la will be na'am. إذا رأته قريش, if the people of Quraysh, people that time saw him, إذا رأته قريش قال قائلها إذا مكارم هذا ينتهي الكرم. And this person is the bar and the measurement of the perfect character, of perfect character. And عد أهل التقى. And if you want to count and measure who is the most pious, religious, God-fearing person in the world, كانوا أئمتهم. There are many, but he's the leader. He's a leader because the way he lives his lifestyle. And then he goes on saying, إن عد أهل التقى كانوا أئمتهم أو قيل من خير أهل الأرض قيلهم. If you ask who's the best person in the world, they will say he's him. And if you still don't know who he is, هذا ابن فاطمة. This is the son of Fatima. So he goes, Fatima had a son named Hassan, Hussein, and Hussein had a son named Ali, and this was Ali. His real name was Ali bin Hussein bin Ali. Okay? So this was the grandson of the Prophet ﷺ. هذا ابن فاطمة إن كنت جاهل. If you still don't know who he is, this is Ibn Fatima. إن كنت جاهل بجده أنبياء الله قد ختموا. His grandfather was the seal of all prophets. And he goes on saying, he says that يغضى حياء. He is so modest, when he walks, he lowers his gaze. But when people see him, they lower their gaze out of respect for him. ويغضى من مهابته. And he never speaks. ولا يتكلم إلا حين يبتسم. When he speaks, he's always smiling. Abu Darda radiallahu anhu, his wife said to his wife, the wife said to the husband, يا أبا درداء لقد أمحقك الناس. Like he would every time لما حدث حديثا اتبسم. Whenever Abu Darda would say a narration, he would smile. So his wife got scared, say, oh Abu Darda, every time you narrate a hadith, you're smiling. People are going to think you're stupid. Like, why are you always smiling? Then Abu Darda says, ما حدث رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حديثا إلا وهو متبسم. Ajib. Every time the Prophet ﷺ narrated a hadith, he was smiling. Jabir radiallahu anhu says, ما رأيت رسول إلا هو متبسما. I always saw the Prophet ﷺ smiling. So you put your investment in this time and acquiring knowledge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you respect in this dunya and akhirah. And this is why the month of Ramadan is coming. In the month of Ramadan, we need to take out our time, our schedule. I'm not doing this because I need students. I will take the opportunity to teach as many people I can and get the reward for it because أنا حريص على هذا الأجر. You know? But students like you, teachers are lucky if they find. And mashallah, you guys are very beautiful, educated, from good families, have time, all the spirit. It's just utilizing your time in the month of Ramadan and educating yourself. If you learn a surah, learn a juz, you learn tafsir, you learn something, your time will not go wasted. And making sure that you have goals that you have for the end of Ramadan. But when the moon is sighted for Eid, your life should have a transformation in your life. And it can, like the Shaykh said and the speaker said, sometimes it can take a speech or a lecture, sometimes it can take more than that. But 1 month of Ramadan should be enough to change your habits. 1 month of Ramadan. And we all promise from now, in the month of Sha'ban, we start doing practice. We have to exercise it. Start fasting. You're going to have to fast on the 15th of Sha'ban. Right? Start fasting on Mondays and Tuesdays. So when the day comes of Ramadan, the first day doesn't feel like ever. And everyone's complaining. So start fasting for that. Start making that, closing on your working on your diet. And then working on your a'mal, doing adhkar, reading Quran. And I expect everyone here, to do some program in the month of Ramadan. To participate in the masjid events. And remember, 1 month can change your life. I was in Dominica in 2004. It's a medical university. I was there for Tarawih. When I went there, it's a famous school, Ross Medical School. So students from all across the States, Europe, Canada, come there for the medical school. I went there for 29 days, from the beginning of Ramadan to the end. When I first came, after I would play basketball with the kids and at night at Ramadan, and college atmosphere, to go to the gym, work out with them. And I started speaking after Maghrib while the food was prepared. Every day they had iftar. The MSA had prepared iftar every single day. And don't ask me if it was halal or not. They were the nicest people second nicest people after the people, okay? They were really nice youngsters. If you have a bunch of youngsters, it's amazing, So a bunch of youngsters from all across, and you have to understand, they were coming from very different types of families. Some were religious, some were not. I started giving a little khatir after Maghrib while the food was being prepared, then I'll give tafsir after Isha. And we never had qiyam in the first 20 days. After 6 days, a guy comes up to me, and he was that person that when the adhan was called, the first thing he would do is smoke. Like he couldn't wait till the adhan was called. Like he not forget a date. Man, I couldn't. That was long. And he would smoke a lot at that time. And then he would go eat something. And you would look at this person like, this guy, he'll never look at religion. Far away from deen. So one day I'm playing basketball at night, and he's taking a smoke. He says, Imam, I want to ask you a question. Please, don't get offended. He says, I didn't learn to read Quran when I was small. Can you please help me? I'm like, what? In my mind, I was like, this is the last person that will ever come out to this option. I said, what? I didn't learn. Can you please help me? I was like, sure, whatever time you want. So I said, between Asr and Maghrib, I can help you. Between Asr and Maghrib. He says, fine. So he comes the next day, so the 7th day, right? So I start helping him, reading Yasin and stuff, Tilawa. So after 2 days, he comes up to me, he's like, my friend wants to come. I was like, yeah, bring anyone. It's free, no charge. He said, but there's a problem. I was like, what's the problem? She's a female. I was like, well, so what? He's like, there's another problem. I was like, what? She doesn't wear hijab. I was like, so what? Right away, I was like, so what? I was like, so she still can learn Quran, and hopefully the Quran will change her life. I was like, yeah, we have a partition, and we can ask her to sit there, and I can teach behind the partition, and I can get my message across. She said, okay. So this is a real story. So she comes, and now, I don't know what they were, what relationship they had. He brings the friend from school. I just say they're innocent friends, They come, every friend's innocent, There's no evil thoughts behind it. So this person comes, brings his friend, and she comes the first day. Bichari, she didn't even know how to put on the hijab. She tried to grab some bed sheet from the masjid, put it over her head. No, don't worry about it. Just have a seat. We'll work it out. And I teach her. She's like, Subhanallah. Even the kalima and the shahada, the mu'awwidah, fatiha, nothing. And I said, if I was to say no to her, then I'm accountable. Qiyamah. So she started learning a little bit. 2 days later, she says, you know what? She comes up to me. She's like, Shaykh. Now she's in the masjid after 2 days. She's wearing something on her head. But honestly, she didn't know how to put on a hijab. I checked that part out, She's like, but with all respect, I come. She's like, she's like, Shaykh, I have some friends that want to come. They're interested to learn some Quran. And this girl brings 5 other girls. I'm like, wow, Shaykh with 6 girls, 1 guy, what's going on here? And sometimes that guy wouldn't show up. So me, thank God I was fasting. Me and 6 girls teaching Quran. No problem, behind partition, And I'm at this age, 19 years old, okay? And she comes, and 10 girls, knowing there were more than 200 students who were Muslim. 1,000 students, more than 200 students were Muslims at this camp. More than 200. At Ross. And then the boy brought 3-4 guys. Who's this guy? This guy that I thought that would never do anything close to Islam has become a da'i to bring 10, 15 people who don't know anything about Quran. They realized that they want this best opportunity. They're away from the world, they're in the middle of an island. I taught them in those 25 days how to read Quran. Before that girl that came didn't know how to say Shahada, before she left, she knew at least 25 surahs, the last small surahs in the Quran. She knew how to read. And we built such a connection that till today they email me, and I think she's finished her law school at Wayne State, and her husband just doing a residency at Wayne State right now. The same girl. And her wedding, she said, Shaykh, we're going to consult with you. You become like a guide for them in their life. Our children's names. Shaykh, we're going to call you. You keep this relationship with these people. But on the 20th day, a person could not dare to miss tahajjud and qiyam in our masjid. 200 people would be in tahajjud and they would be crying at night. It was silence. And the people outside, it was an island, and people could hear people across the street crying for the masjid. When the 29th day came, these people cried so much. They couldn't believe. They're like, we never cried this much in our life. The person who did not know how to cry saw the person next to him crying, he had to cry. How do you cry? Try to cry. And it was so connected. The fact is they worked all together. And I need you to do this with me in Ramadan. I don't want any one of you to miss out on any opportunity. You give your time, and everyone till today, contacts us. You have to give, you have to be interested. I didn't put any spell over them, neither I didn't have an asa, musa, nothing. It was just the suhbah, the time, the environment of Ramadan. These kids, when I was leaving, what gift can we get you? What can we do for you? Anything, Shaykh. And I was like, nothing. There are students, just remember us in your du'as and stay firm in your religion. That's all I wanted from them. Alhamdulillah, these kids went back. And today there are physicians serving the communities in Virginia, California, and their lives have changed. The women and those girls that came, their lives have changed. One of their husbands came to Saginaw for rotations. He called me, he's like, my wife, man, what did you do to her? She's always coding. He's like, 4 years later, she's always coding. Sheikh Abdullah, I said, nothing. That's the whole issue. You girls and you brothers here have this month coming up. If you all come to the Masjid al-Qiyams, if you all come to the Masjid al-Tafsir programs, I swear by Allah, the direction will change. And you don't think you're an influence on someone. You are, definitely. When you see someone coming, it will change their lives. You change your life. You'll be a block and support to everyone. And this is what I'm requesting in the month of Ramadan.